Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. In today's video I will talk to you about how much money I made entirely from this abandoned factory until now. In the last video you saw me trying to do the same thing, but actually I came across so much copper wire that we just scrapped that out instead. So that obviously has to go on top of all of the money that I actually made off of this place. But I want to talk to you about how I actually did that. So I discovered that this place was torn down after it burned basically completely to dust a couple of years ago. I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago. And I started exploring this when I was still like a child basically. And yeah, so I at some point I started scrapping more heavily. I was into scrapping basically for decades at this point, but like I started scrapping more heavily and making it my career a couple of years ago, and that's when I started taking all of this stuff out of here. And you can see right here, this is one of the stuff that I actually didn't take out, these massive brass or bronze bushings here. I wanted to do that, but I just didn't have the time until now, and they are worth some good money, but it's really hard to get them out. So how I made the most of the money here is through copper wire. This tunnel that we are looking at right here is one of the only pieces of the building that is still standing today. And it goes in there about, I would say, 100 meters. After that there's a step, it goes down, and it goes down under the pavement for another maybe 50 meters, and it was completely lined with thick telecom wire, thick normal extension cord wire, some other small kind of household wire, all kinds of stuff like that. And I pulled those all out, cut them up into these pieces that you have seen on the channel actually. You have seen some of these big telecom wire pieces, and also in one of the recent videos I decided to sell some more of these like electricity wires that I pulled out of here, and you can see that as well. If you want to, you can go back and take a look at that video. I think it was like 2 or 3 videos ago, or probably 4 or 5 at this point. But yeah, that's basically what we did. We pulled all of that out of there. I sold it, and in total I made approximately 500 bucks from this place already. And it's not done yet, so this is really cool. I'm gonna show you all the places that I did that, and this is the wire from the last video here. We haven't sold that yet. I've left that here, and this is now the second day actually. No, the third day. It's gotta be the third day. And yeah, so I'm gonna take you downstairs now. Well, downstairs, down the hill, and we're gonna look at another place where I made some also really good money. So here we go. So while we're walking down there, and excuse the wind noise again, it's still very windy, I'm going to talk to you about actually the amount of money I actually only made off of this spot here, which is basically just open plains, but there was a lot of wire laying around here in the beginning, and also some big pieces of aluminum. You've also seen these pieces of aluminum on the channel. It's the stuff that I kept, that I didn't sell, but because it was very clean and I initially wanted to melt it down, but I decided not to do that. So yeah, now we're gonna sell that off. But oh, look at that little piece of steel. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. That's probably 10 cents. Awesome stuff. So no, it's not, it's maybe 5, but yeah. So this plain, like open field basically, has also paid me at least probably another 150 bucks, something like that. And yeah, really good, just really solid stuff. And we're gonna go down there now and see how well, how are we actually gonna go down there. I would say we'll go over here, because the scenery here actually changed quite a bit, because they are moving around the dirt here. There's gonna be something's gonna be built here in a couple of weeks or months. They're gonna start with that this year, and so this is basically the only time I can really be here. So that's why I created this mini series of us exploring this scrap oasis basically. And it's really just really cool to take a look at all of this stuff and see how this place actually evolved. Also, just like for me, I've seen its entire journey from being a factory to being this, basically the entirety of it, that's quite something, honestly. It's really interesting, and I definitely found some really good scrap here, that's for sure. the amount of copper that was in here is really amazing. But that's definitely not all. I also made some good money off of the steel. I made some videos about me actually collecting steel here. You can see that, and I just ran into a tree, which is always nice, obviously. And that's like also like really interesting stuff. You can basically make money with almost everything here. What's that? Oh, that's just a branch, okay. But you know, it's just really, really cool. So this here, look at this. All of this stuff that you can see here is insulation from copper wire, from the really, really big stuff. I actually didn't scrap that. That's because the insulation is still here, and that's why the insulation is actually still here, because I would usually take the entire stuff if I take scrap, you know, because it's kind of like not very nice to leave insulation behind and just take the copper, because we obviously want to do something for the environment, obviously. And so doing stuff like that is not very nice, but we're obviously not going to pick up this empty insulation. That's not really my job, so I won't do that. But yeah, there's really a lot laying around here. That was probably insulation for some big copper wire as well. But this definitely was. I know that for a fact because I found some remnants of copper wire up in here. And if you look in there, you might be able to spot the copper wire that is coming out of basically from under the street there, which is really interesting. And I got some good pieces out of that too, for sure. But I won't go in there today, and that's because it's actually pretty harmful to do that. Why is that a thing? Because there's fiberglass laying around everywhere there. And this was an old building. It had problems with asbestos and with some very harmful fiberglass wool, and I'm not messing with that stuff. If it hasn't rained and there can be dust in the air, I'm really not doing that. But I think you get the point. That was another spot where I probably made close to 200 bucks. Really good money there. And I took all my insulation with me, but obviously the people that were there before me that also weren't able to put the effort in to actually pull the stuff out of the wall, as you saw there, as we were there in just a minute, you can see that there's actually quite a bit of stuff that comes from the wall, and I pulled all that stuff out of there, and I also took the insulation from that. And the people that were there before me, they basically took the stuff that was hanging out of that hole when they tore down the building that was at that place, and they just left the insulation and took the copper, which is obviously not a very nice thing to do, but yeah, well, I mean, that's humankind for you. Can't really do a whole lot about that, but that's obviously not something you should do. So if you get stuff like that where you're gonna make a lot of money out of it, come on, at least have the decency to clean up a bit, okay? So I think that's a pretty good thing to do, honestly, which is, yeah, well, goes without saying, I guess, but you gotta say it still, because humans are just a little bit odd sometimes. But I'm gonna go on top of this hill now. I'm gonna show you down there. As you can see down there where this blue stuff's back there, there was a big pile of black dirt, and inside of this big pile of black dirt I also found some really good pieces of copper wire, some red ones with red insulation, and they were really thick, and made some good money off of that, because I actually didn't sell them as they were. I actually I stripped them, obviously, that's that's a given, but I melted them down into some nice copper bars, 500 gram bars, and I sold them on eBay and made some really good money off of that. Yeah, probably honestly another 200 bucks or something like that. And I'm really happy with this overall. And over there, actually, if you can see over there, there's basically the end of this allotment, and over there I found some tools, some old tools, very rusty tools, but solid tools, and I was able to restore them, and that made me not really any money, but it gave me some nice tools. So that was also really cool. Probably 50 bucks worth of tools that I just found there. Was really good quality stuff, and I'm really happy that I had them at the time that I found them, because I didn't honestly didn't have any money. So that was really cool stuff. We are back here at our bucket. We're gonna drop a piece of steel in there, and yeah, so in total probably close to 600 bucks made from this place. maybe even more, and probably way more stuff that I could have grabbed, like these big cast iron pipes and these brass pieces and this massive piece of aluminum wire that we found a couple of videos back. And just, you know, places like this, you just have to keep on it. You have to keep exploring stuff like this. You have to keep looking for stuff, and you're gonna be rewarded for it in some way or another. Obviously, don't do stuff that's illegal. You shouldn't really do that, but I just think that this is, I'm cleaning up this place, I'm helping them getting rid of this trash, and I think that's a good thing to do. So even though it's maybe not perfectly legal, it's also not illegal, at least not when it comes to my moral, and that's what I usually go by. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope that I could explain to you a little bit of the stuff that I do. This is something that I do, and yeah, it is profitable. Can definitely be profitable. I haven't spent a lot of time here, but it's definitely been worth it. And so yeah, this is probably going to be the last time that we are going to be here at the abandoned factory. So goodbye abandoned factory, I guess. And I'm interested to see what kind of building is going to be built here. And I'm really happy that we could rescue all of this copper and put it back into the economy and do a good thing for planet Earth, basically. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, rate it with either like thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever you might want to do. If you've got any more questions whatsoever, write them in the comments below, or if you just want to say hi, I'd be very happy about that too. And if you want to, you can also subscribe to the channel, because that's a really cool thing and it helps you not miss any new uploads. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time.